Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Shalom, shalom. It's your brother M.I.C.R.O from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. Back at it again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And before I get started, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Ha Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes whom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will ultimately have mercy upon in these last days. All right, I'm the brother M.I.C.R.O, and just reporting of an update, all right, to Esau's beast system, okay, pertaining to the MOTB, which is the RFID micro C.H.I.P, pursuant to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Now, this comes via way, as you can see here. This is from End Time Headlines, all right, which they are reporting from Biometric Update, okay, which is a website that you can go on to find this actual article. All right, now this was published as of the 1st of May, 2026, which, keep in mind, that is a satanic holy day, all right, which is also known as May Day, okay, or there's another word for it they also call it, slips my mind. But nevertheless, the title reads, almost 50% of U.S. consumers would be willing to use Palm biometric payments. Okay, Palm biometric payments. So quickly reading the article, it says, according to a report from Biometric Update, a new census-wide survey conducted for HandWave indicates strong potential for palm-based biometric payments to gain mainstream traction in the United States, particularly if data security concerns are addressed. The poll of 2001 Americans highlights how frustration with the traditional checkout methods is driving interest in faster, contact-free alternatives. Palm vein technology, noted for its distinctiveness and hygienic advantages over fingerprints, is positioned as a solution that can transform everyday transaction. And consumers are signaling that speed, convenience, and hygiene will define the future of payments, but trust in the tipping point, said Oscar's chief revenue officer at HandWave. Now, I just want to interject before I continue to read, because if we think back to the DVOC 19 era, okay, at the start of 2020 when the pandemic hit, that set the basis for them to usher in their technology, a new source of regime dealing with their enterprise, which consists of their new world order. And if you remember, you had to be at least minimum 6 feet away or 1.5 meters away, okay, from the individual who, had the DVOC, all right? And that set the stage for them to also bring in what's known as facial recognition cameras, infrared heating signal technology, drones, okay, barcode systems, biometrics, okay, things of that nature. And, basically they live off the premises of never let a good crisis go to waste. Okay. So everything that happens, okay, that Esau has his hand in is for the sole purpose to bring us one step closer to his new world order. All right. So that's the reason why when they say things like consumers are signaling, they want more speed, it's also convenient, hygienic. OK, keep in mind, that's the reason why they had to use that virus situation going back to 2020, because it opened the doors to them being able to go from cash, OK, to digital coins. OK. If you remember, there was certain stores and outlets about 4 to 5 years ago that stopped taking cash, and they wanted you to either scan your card, Apple Pay, or whatever, because it stopped the risk of spreading the virus or whatever by handing them cash in hand. Okay, so this is the nonsense that, Esau pushes forward. Okay. And majority of the masses of people, they fall for it. Okay. And also it's known as gradualism, which I always bring that out in majority of my lessons, which when you deal with the word gradualism within itself, it just simply means a sequence of steps that are taken to get to the ultimate goal. Okay. So continuing to read on, nearly half, 48% of respondents across all ages said they would use palm payments regularly if assured their biometric data would be handled securely, right? Younger consumers show even greater enthusiasm, all right? And it's the reason why that is because, you know, a lot of the younger generation have been dumbed down, okay, through technology. All right. Their nervous system has been attacked to where they've become overstimulated through their classrooms, what's being taught at school, the social media, different apps such as TikTok, Instagram, X, and all of that. So when you're overstimulated and your nervous system has been attacked, it's easy for you to lean upon the next new wave of things that you may see as convenient. Okay, but you don't know the dire consequences behind that convenience that they're trying to push out. And that's the problem that we're facing here. Okay. And that's why the apostles, they always say, when it starts with our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're going to be the first ones at the forefront to take this technology because you trust in this wickedness. You trusted in the shadow of Egypt, as the scripture says in the book of Isaiah. You see? So let me read this part again. It says younger consumers show even greater enthusiasm. 46% of those aged 25 to 34 trust biometric methods like face or fingerprint recognition for payments and loyalty programs. And remember, I spoke about gradualism because if you go back 10 years ago where you had, PayPal, Cash App, which were all just coming up a little bit 10, 15 years ago, that was all to condition society for this very point in time that we have now entered into the digital age. Okay. Certain cell phones that came out of the market when the iPhone first introduced facial recognition in order for you to unlock your phone. Things like that. Okay. Those are the little things that they sneak in to get you well equipped and comfortable. So when they bring in this unrighteous decree, okay, it's not going to seem as bad because, hey, guess what? You already use facial recognition to open your phone, right? You already go to the grocery store and you take out your EBT card or your FPOS card and you scan and tap and pay, or using Google Pay or Apple Pay. You are already accustomed to those things. You see? So when they finally do the switch over, okay, majority of you, okay, you're going to be equipped to just take it on because that's something that you've already gotten accustomed to. Again, not understanding the dangers, okay, that surrounds, okay, what's hidden in the dark behind closed doors or what they're using it for. So continuing on, it says dissatisfaction with current options runs high in major cities, including New York, Miami, San Francisco, and Las Vegas, where fewer than half of consumers report being happy with chip and PIN or cash systems. A significant 1/3 of Americans actively avoid card-only stores, with resistance stronger among younger shoppers and urban dwellers. Right, because, again, when it comes to the younger consumers, they have already been overtaken with technology. Okay, when you get into like Gen X, or Gen Z, okay, and Gen Alpha, whatever it's called, okay, that whole generation, they through. It's over for them. Okay. It says motivations for adopting Palm biometrics include faster checkouts, 34%, perceived better security, 36%, and the freedom to shop without wallets or phones, 25%. And see, this is how they're going to try to spin it to the mass public. Okay, much faster, hygienic. Okay, you ain't got to carry your phone, your wallet, which matter of fact, there was an old Amazon, which let's see if I can pull that up real quick. But if you go to YouTube and I type in, get that bug out, Jake. And you type in Amazon, what was it called? Amazon One palm scanning. Okay. You see it right there. Now, this was 4 years ago. Now, when that whole situation happened, okay, which let's go into this. Now, this is fair use. All right, this is fair use. Now,
Make your own birthday card.
Damn commercial, Slovakia.
Move over Apple Pay. Amazon is trying to muscle its way into your digital wallet.
Amazon is ramping up its contactless payment system nationwide that works by scanning the palm of your hand right there. Kit Doe takes it for a test drive.
So the new payment systems have been rolling out across the country for the past year. Finally, here in the Bay Area, we get our very first one, and it launched this morning.
You really gotta hand it to Amazon.
Will you be paying with your palm today?
For trying to put the future of payments right in the palm of your, you know.
Right there, perfect.
It's called Amazon One, a new contactless payment system that launched for the first time in Northern California at their store in Santana Row. To sign up, first insert a credit card and then hold your hand over the special camera. It'll scan the lines, ridges, and even pattern of veins inside your hand. The algorithm then creates a unique palm signature. The whole process takes about a minute.
And you can just hold your hand right over it?
Tommy Alas was the first person in the Bay Area to sign up.
What'd you think?
I think it was really cool, very convenient form of payment, just quick and easy.
Liz Gonzalez thinks the new technology could come in handy.
That was easy. There you go.
People like me, I'm very forgetful. I always forget my credit card or my watch, and now I don't need to remember to bring my palm.
If anyone can get this
let me just stop it there. Let me just take it back what she just said. Because, see, look, that could be a real person they interview, or it could be we understand you have the CA, all right, the ISIS actors. I'll just say that, right? But listen to what she just said.
Me, I'm very forgetful. I always forget my credit card or my watch, and now I don't need to remember to bring my palm.
And see, it's all, fun and games, but the ultimate goal, okay, is for them to actually put a chip in you. Now, you may say, well, what's the point of them putting a chip in you if all they got to do is just register the information from your credit card, set up in an account, and it just scans your palm or whatever. Well, eventually it's going to move to them actually having that chip that's within inside of you. That's the ultimate goal, what they want. Again, we're talking about gradualism, okay, which is a sequence of steps. This is another step in a direction to you about to receive that chip. Okay, because again, this is what the bankers want. There's no way of getting out of it. This is what's coming. All right.
If anyone can get this popular, it'll be Amazon.
Ian Scher with CNET says all signs point to this new technology as being safe and reliable. In the past year, the company has rolled out the palm scanners to 60 locations around the country, including mobile ticketing for a concert venue in Denver and a number of Whole Foods locations. But for consumers, old habits die hard.
The reality is that a lot of introducing new technology is convincing people to use it. And how much easier is it to use than just pulling out my credit card and paying that way? But we Americans are very hesitant to jump on this stuff. And so I am curious to see whether or not it's really going to end up going anywhere with us, or whether we're going to wait until some other technology comes along.
In San Jose, Kit Doe, KPIX5.
Right. We don't need that. So that was 4 years ago. Okay. And Amazon One had a commercial. They had their own commercial. Let me see. Amazon. Here it is right here. Amazon One launches app to scan your palm for checkout. Okay, so you brothers, who are in the know, you remember this when this came out about 4 years ago. All right. And I don't know if I can zoom in, but just right above the one, okay, they have that little chip right here, right there.
It's recent.
Okay. So it's just it's letting you know, okay, they're preparing you. All right. And there's no way around it. So that's all I really wanted to show you. So getting back, close off on the article. It says, when people are confident that their data is handled securely, half of all shoppers say they will use palm payments regularly. What we're seeing is the emergence of a new payment culture, intuitive, contact-free, and built around the individual. Barriers persist. However, fear of data breaches top concerns at 55%, while 41% worry about data misuse, 32% distrust retailers and providers, and 29% fear technical failures. Early adoption signals appears in cities like Miami, New York, where over half express comfort with palm payments, and 1 in 10 in Las Vegas shoppers already report using biometric options. And that's just, Esau's way of hitting up the big cities first, okay, before they trickle down to the lower cities or lower, less populated cities. All right. Because if they can get the big cities in first, then it'll spread like wildfire, man. And then everybody will catch on. OK, so let's get a few precepts and close out. All right. First one I want to get is Habakkuk 2. And I'm going to start at the top. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Okay, and this is our position as the ambassadors of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, we're standing upon our watch, and mainly the tower in this day and age will be the internet, because that's where a lot of the heavy lifting is done for us. Okay, and this is why we search through the internet, and when we find things like this, okay, that we can connect and cross-reference to biblical prophecy. All right, our job as the prophets is to take this information and to warn the sheep. All right, we're sounding the alarm. We are blowing the trumpet. Verse 2, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And that's what we're doing. Okay, the vision is being made plain. Okay, you have the understanding, you have the breakdown, which, by the way, when you go into that word, he may run. Okay.
Strong's H 7323. Roots.
It says to run swiftly, dart, to bring or move quickly, hurry, to drip away from, cause to run away. But here in the Strong's, okay, it says to run for whatever reason, especially to rush, break down, divide speedily. Okay, and that's what the prophet's job is to do. Our job is to break down these scriptures and to divide the word. Okay, rightly dividing the word of truth, as it says in 2 Timothy 2:15. Okay, and this is, the job of a prophet. It says, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Okay, and the vision that John the Revelator had in Revelation, the 13th chapter, we're openly seeing it right now. Okay, and it seems as though they are about to set the stage to bring in, okay, this system, because, energy lockdowns are coming in. They have to use this crisis that's going on over there in the Gulf with this war. Okay, they have to use it to their benefit so that they can get, another step closer to implementing their new world order. All right. And we understand. Let's go to Revelation 13:16. It says that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. And we know, as we always go through this, when you look up the word mark, it is a Greek word charagma, which says a stamp and an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist, which there's more than one Antichrist, by the way. It says here, the mark branded upon horses, a thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. But when you read the Strong's, it goes a little bit further. It says a scratch or etching, i.e. a stamp as a badge of servitude. Okay, that's how we know it's speaking of something physical that's going to go inside you as in an incision, because when you pick out these words scratch and etching, it leads back to the word incised. Now, when you go into the word incised, which let's go to the etymology online. Okay, the word incise literally means to make a cut. Okay, it says to cut into, cut open, engrave. Okay, so when you engrave something, which let's go there. To cut in, make by incision. Okay. Engrave, carve. It says from the verb grave, carve, see grave. All right. Let me see. Grave, tomb, to dig, to scratch, to scrape. There you go. All right. So it's important that you go into these words, which when you come back and you go into the root word for charagma, you have the Greek word charax, which is a palisade. All right. It says through the idea to a point, through the idea of scratching. Okay. So a palisade is in this context is used as the little utensil that they're going to use to insert that chip inside of you. That's why it says through the idea of scratching. Okay. So verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So now you can see the vision that without having this technology, you're not going to be able to make any transactions. All right. And for certain Jakes out there, for them, seeing is believing. All right. So if you can see by watching the news, understanding certain articles that come out where this is all leading to, you should be able to see the vision plain as day. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? Which when you go into C.H.I.P stigma, the word stigma, it literally means, let's go here real quick. All right. Okay. Strong's definition for stigma, it says to stick, prick, a mark, incised, or punched for recognition of ownership. Remember, going back to charagma, to act as a badge of servitude. So literally, when you take the chip, you are showing your allegiance to the beast system. Okay? This is how you know that this is a physical mark. This is not a spiritual mark. All right? Now, another thing we always bring out to end this off, when you get Revelation, the 16th chapter, in verse 2, it says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the man which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. All right. Now, when you look up the word grievous sore, all right, you look up grievous.
Strong's G 4190. Paneras. Paneras.
Okay. And it's really just going into of a bad nature or condition. Okay. Full of annoyances, hardships. Okay. Calamitous. But when you go into the word sore, helkos.
Strong's G 1668. Helkos.
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 Outline biblical usage. It says a wound producing a discharge, pus, a sore, an ulcer. So you have to ask yourself, well, anybody who takes the mark of the beast, how would this ulcer, okay, this sore or pus discharge, which goes into a cancerous, cancerous wound of some sort, right? Well, that can only be drawn out through the act of radiation, which means you will have to have a certain device that can cause a cancerous sore, right? Now, can we prove this further? Absolutely. When we go into text commentaries in the blue letter, and I believe if you scroll down I think it was, from my memory, John Brown, Revelation 16. And right here, yeah. So when you read the commentary of John Brown, Revelation 16, you scroll down to where it says text 2. And then we're going to read where I have outlined here so you can see. It says, number 2, notice also that this first vowel does not affect those who have refused to accept the mark of the beast. As we discussed in earlier chapters, these foul and loathsome sores could be a result of the angel simultaneously popping the lithium batteries that power the womb-to-tomb microchips implanted under the skin of all those marked by the beast. You see that? So even these top biblical scholars, they even understand that the mark of the beast is talking about the microchips that will be inserted, okay, within your body. Okay. And Revelation 16 and 2 gives us a clear indication of what John the Revelator was alluding to in Revelation, the 13th chapter, where he said he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand and their forehead. It's talking about chips, man, microchips. How else are you going to get that grievous sore? Okay, that can only come via way if you have some sort of device, okay, that can cause radiation for you to have such a grievous sore. That will be the only sensible, logical explanation from all of this, right? And so, you know, that's pretty much it, you know, for the lesson. So, hey, when these things come to pass, you can't say that you wasn't warned, okay? And, you know, we can end it on that too. Let's get the book of Ezekiel 33. And 33, it says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. Okay, so when they go full throttle and bring this out, okay, reality will set in, and you're going to know that the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua were here, and they have tried to give you the warning, but you didn't take heed. Okay, so with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying, and I want to give all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bahasham Rakah HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect, the tabernacle of David. Let's on to the next. Shalom.